If anyone tells you that looks don't matter, I want you to verbally out loud say to them, fuck you. Because the people that say that either A, are like your parents' age, so like totally different generation, totally different like dating dynamics, or two, they were naturally born handsome and never have experienced what life is like on the other side. Because as someone who was formerly pretty fucking ugly, if I'm being honest, I can tell you my dating life, well, you can't even call it a dating life because it was non-existent, right? Looks absolutely matter. Now, obviously, looks aren't gonna hold a relationship. They're not gonna carry the relationship. They're not gonna make her fall in love with you, but they get your foot in the door. They absolutely get your foot in the door. So it's your absolute moral duty to become as handsome as humanly possible, which all of you are more than capable of. And just to give you guys a little story, so, I told you guys my dating life, it used to be literally non-existent. Like, girls did not hold eye contact with me. I used to go to church. I still go to church. But when I would go to church, if you go to church at all, like how like the pastor would like get up and greet everyone and say hi to each other after like worship. So, I didn't have like the balls to do cold approach back then. So I would like specifically position myself in a row or an aisle where I'd see like a group of girls. That way I was like forced to like introduce myself to them. That was like kind of like my game back then. Fucking stupid, but I lacked confidence. It's better than nothing, right? Well, when I would talk to these girls, they wouldn't even be like they didn't even want to like carry the conversation with me. Like, they were so repulsed. Like, I could just see in the look of their eyes that they did not want to talk to me. Like, weren't holding eye contact with me, kept like looking to the left, looking to the right, like looking for a way out of the conversation when it was literally just like a, hey, my name's Christian, right? And their friends were all looking at each other like as I'm like talking. Like, it was brutal, bro. It was brutal. And all the responses were like one-liners and like, haha, thanks, like that kind of stuff. Sometimes I was literally like, they were sitting down and I was standing up talking to them. Like, that's when it's bad. And I was self-aware enough to know like what was going on. And all I wanted was to feel like desirable by women. And once I finally actually like made a glow up, I realized how much of a difference it makes. I realized how much of a difference it makes. Like, looks literally like are the difference between like you walking around in public and girls not even acknowledging your existence, and you go into a restaurant and the waitress writing down on a napkin her Instagram and her phone number and giving it to you. That happens, bro. That happens. A lot of guys don't believe that girls will shoot their shot or make the first move, but they absolutely will. Now, most of the time you're gonna have to put in the work yourself. But I've been approached plenty of times. And even though girls might not necessarily make the approach, they'll give you choosing signals. Like, they'll eyeball you down, they'll stare at you, or they'll position themselves near you. Like, if you're working out, if you're in shape, you've definitely experienced this, but like, you'll be on one machine, like you're doing like shoulder pressing, and maybe there's like a girl doing leg press in the same room, and then she'll just like come to the machine next to you. And you're like, you don't really think much of it. You're like, oh, I don't want to have an ego. I don't really want to like think like, oh yeah, she's totally into me. But then you'll like, experiment, go to like another machine. And, a minute later, she's on a machine next to you. And it's like, you were just hitting legs. Like, I know you weren't going to use this machine. But that's just kind of like her like positioning herself towards you. So you actually like make a move on her or like say hi or start a conversation. Now, I'm not like the biggest like fan of approaching girls at the gym. I've done it before. In fact, I once did it and it went totally south. So you just got to be careful with it. It has to be a little more calculated because it's like, this is a place you frequent. So like, make sure it's like someone that doesn't normally go at the same time as you do. Man, it's raining all of a sudden. But you get the idea. Like, if you're not like socially incompetent, like if you have half a brain, you understand why it's probably not the best spot to do it. You can absolutely do it, but you just got to play your cards right. And when I did it, I didn't play my cards right. But it's funny, man, because I told you, I didn't always used to be handsome. So it's funny. A couple of years ago, I was sitting in the hot tub with my friends, and it was kind of like they all knew that I wasn't attractive. They all knew that I wasn't pulling girls. In fact, it was so bad that I actually used to go on Reddit and like type all these like paragraphs, and I'd vent about how my dating life was non-existent, how I couldn't get girls, and how girls didn't find me attractive, and how they'd flake on me. Somehow they like found that like Reddit account. I have no idea how they found it, but they did. And, you know, that's kind of when all my friends kind of like, they lost respect for me and just viewed me as like less of a man, and viewed me as the guy that like girls just didn't attract. And I remember one day we were all sitting in the hot tub, like I said, and we were all kind of like talking about girls. And, you know, I was like, you know what, one day I'm going to be the guy that like, you know, gets all the girls. You know, if we're going out somewhere, I can invite girls with us. And, you know, I can just go on a date whenever I want. And they all just kind of like laughed at me and thought I was delusional. Some of them are even like, dude, like, I'm going to write this down on paper. Like, is it cool if I quote you on this? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I spoke it with absolute conviction, because even though like I wasn't attractive, I've always had like very high self-belief in myself. I knew I could do it. I just didn't know how, right? I knew I was capable. I knew deep down inside I could be that guy that women just are like desiring, that they just wanted to be with. Right? But they couldn't see that. They couldn't see that. They thought I was delusional. They even thought I was like kind of like egotistical. And a couple years later, I've reached that point now. You know, I've worked on my self-image. I've gotten in shape. I've gotten more handsome. I've become more confident because of that, right? So not only am I more physically attractive, but I'm more intellectually and emotionally attractive when I'm out with girls, because of the way I carry myself, the way I speak, right? And now I've become that person that can go on a date any day of the week. I can log on a dating app and I get dozens and dozens of high quality matches, girls ready to go out with me and that are actually attractive. And like I said, every time I go out, girls are admiring me, girls are checking me out. And you absolutely can achieve this too. But the one thing that's holding you guys back, I see, is you guys are too worried about what other people think. You're too worried that like, oh man, like if I start dressing nice, like my friends are gonna think I'm weird, or they're gonna be like, oh, he's going through a new personality shift. That's not how he normally is. I see it like acting different all of a sudden. Or you're gonna be like just insecure because you're like, man, like they're gonna know this isn't who I am. But like you're changing your identity. You're changing your identity to get the outcomes you desire, because let's be real, bro, like you're not attracting any girls right now. And the first step to actually becoming more attractive is to work on yourself, to start dressing better, to start grooming yourself, to start getting haircuts, to get in shape, right? Why do you care what these people think? Like, you caring about what these guys think about you is literally dictating the trajectory of your life, right? If you don't change, if you just let these people control you, you're never going to become that guy. And they're going to remain like, they're going to continue to be like, yeah, that's the guy that doesn't get girls. And they're going to continue to think the same way as you. Now, spoiler alert, when you do become that guy, they'll still like, you know, be envious. They'll be envious. They'll be jealous, and they'll start to like project their own insecurities on you. That happens to me all the time, because they still want to view you as like that guy that, you know, girls don't find attractive, because it's like, holy shit, like now you're pulling more girls than they are. Anyways, you know, you got to work on yourself. So stop worrying about what other people think. Stop worrying about what other people think, because that's literally holding you back. Like, you have to self-improve. And then it's like other guys are like, well, how come everyone else can just effortlessly attract girls without self-improving? I mean, dude, some people have an advantage. Some people are naturally more gifted at talking to girls. Some people are naturally more attractive. But at the end of the day, like, look at the girls they're attracting. Like, are those the same girls that you're attracted to? Are those like the quality of girls you want to go out with? How do these girls treat these guys, right? Pay attention to that. Be honest with yourself, right? Because there's a certain, you know, level of attractiveness you want these girls to be. There's a certain threshold of attractiveness you want them to have. You want them to act a certain way. In order to achieve that, you have to put in the work, right? You have to put in the work. It's non-negotiable. So you can't worry about what other people think, and you can't, you know, compare yourself to others and be like, oh, they effortlessly get girls. Well, guess what? You're going to be pulling hotter girls than they do. And when you do, they're going to be jealous. Who fucking cares? Who cares? Like, doesn't matter. So stop worrying about what other people think. Like, just put in your work, put your head down, stop comparing yourself to others, focus on how you can be the best man you possibly can be, and you'll find that women find you very, very attractive. And if you'd like to know exactly, you know, everything you can do to dial in your self-image, I actually posted an hour-long guide on everything I did to transform my self-image. I'll have it first link in the description. It's a very long video, but it goes over literally everything you need to know to make a transformation like I did, so you can actually have the dating life you desire, because I'm telling you, man, like looks make all the difference. Like you really don't know how different dating can be until you actually maximize your attractiveness. And I feel like every man deserves to achieve that. Every man desires it. So I put that first link in the description of the video. If you want to maximize your dating life, watch that video and you'll absolutely transform your life. But that's it for this video, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.